The forgotten death cults of the 16th century. In the 16th century, hidden deep beneath cities and temples, secret cults believed the universe itself was on the verge of collapse. They believed the stars could fall from the sky, that the world could descend into chaos unless blood was spilled. To them, sacrifice wasn't cruelty, it was survival. Tonight, on Hidden History, we explore the brutal rituals of the forgotten death cults of the 1500s, across parts of Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Underground chambers were constructed far from the eyes of ordinary society. These places were not ordinary temples. They were crypts designed to disconnect believers from the outside world. Archaeologists who later discovered these sites described narrow corridors, dim torchlight, and stone altars surrounded by bones. The layout of these chambers was intentional. Long twisting passages disoriented visitors. Dark rooms forced initiates into silence and reflection. Two members of these cults, stepping into the crypt, meant entering a space between worlds, a place where human action could influence the fate of the cosmos. Inside these chambers, one object appeared again and again. The blade. Many of the tools discovered by archaeologists were made from obsidian. Obsidian is volcanic glass, sharper than most metal blades of the time. When fractured, it forms edges so precise they can cut with surgical accuracy. But these blades were not designed for medicine. They were ritual instruments. In many of these cults, sacrifice followed a strict sequence of chants, movements, and offerings. Participants believed the pain and blood released during these rituals carried spiritual energy. Energy that could be offered to the gods. Energy that could keep the universe in balance. To modern observers, these practices seem horrifying. But for those inside the cults, the logic was clear. They believed the world was fragile, that the gods required constant nourishment to maintain the order of the cosmos. Some sects described this belief as a debt of blood. Human life, they believed, was borrowed from the divine, and it had to be repaid. Without sacrifice, they believed the gods would withdraw their protection. The sun might stop rising, the stars might fall, and the world itself might collapse into chaos. In Terry's ritual, sacrifice was not cruelty. It was maintenance. Joining these sects was not simple. Initiates often underwent intense rituals of isolation and discipline. Some were forced to fast for days. Others spent long periods in dark chambers, repeating prayers and chants. The goal was to break the connection to ordinary life. Slowly, the initiate began to see themselves not as an individual, but as part of a sacred system. At the top of the hierarchy stood the ritual priests. These individuals believed they carried an enormous responsibility. To them, every sacrifice was an act that kept the universe functioning. Without their actions, they believed reality itself might unravel. By the late 16th and early 17th centuries, many of these secret sects began to disappear. Expanding empires and organized religions saw them as dangerous threats. Authorities launched investigations. Crypts were destroyed. Ritual sites were sealed or abandoned. Records of these cults were often deliberately erased. What remains today comes mostly from archaeological discoveries, fragments of tools, ancient chambers, and the silent testimony of the bones left behind. The forgotten death cults of the 16th century revealed something deeply unsettling about human belief. When people truly believe the world is about to end, they are capable of extraordinary actions. To them, sacrifice was not madness. It was duty. A terrifying reminder of how powerful fear and faith can become, and how thin the line is between devotion and darkness. This was Hidden History. If you want to explore more forgotten stories from the shadows of the past, subscribe and join us on the next journey into history's darkest chapters.